Dolores Huerta está en el Tiempo Latino, está en las oficinas, en el edificio del Washington Post. Y Dolores, primero de todo, thank you very much for being here.
Oh, you're welcome.
You are here because you never stop. You are a fireball, you are out in the streets, you are in the communities, you are still sending the message. So many years later, we are in a new century, your message is still alive, but your energy is still alive. Can you tell us why are you in Virginia now that we are starting November?
Well, I am here because we want to reach out to people, especially people in the Latino community, why it is important for them to vote. I'm here canvassing and helping Jeremy McPike, who is running for the Senate. We know that in the area that he represents in Virginia, there has been a lot of anti-Latino, anti-immigrant kind of a sentiment, and that people their lives have been damaged, and many people have had to leave because of this hatred that has been, directed at them. And so people want to see new representation. They want to see somebody there that's really going to help the community, work for the community. And so I think that Mr. McPike, by his record that he has been really a servant in the community in the past, is a person that needs to be elected for the Senate. Yeah. And so we're here to kind of encourage people to get out there and to help him win.
I know this morning you were talking to a group of very young people. People for whom probably you actually are a historical figure, but I can put myself in the mind of a teenager saying this great figure that they read about, especially during Hispanic Heritage Month in high school, and all of a sudden she is in front of them and she is encouraging them to be engaged in the civic world out there in the streets. What is the feedback you get from them? What is the energy that you find there?
Well, we find that they're kind of a little timid, because this is the first time some of them have done this kind of work, but they do want to see changes. Their families have been victims of so much of this racist rhetoric that has been attacked, because when it's directed to, they say it's directed to undocumented people or immigrants, it actually affects all of us. I mean, my family's been here for many, many generations. My great-grandfather was actually in the Civil War. On the Union side, because he was born in New York. And yet, because I am brown and, my children, my grandchildren, we all get affected by this anti-Mexican or anti-immigrant kind of rhetoric that's out there. And these young people, they feel that, and it hurts them. And so I think it also encourages them at the same time that they're willing to volunteer along with all the other volunteers to come out there and do the hard work during the elections, which is going to people's doors to talk to them, to tell them why it's important that they get involved in voting. And a lot of times people don't realize that their vote will make a difference. They don't feel that their votes matter. And so of course that's the kind of work that we have to do. And we like to tell the story that in the election when Governor Terry McAuliffe was elected, that in the state of Virginia, even though the population is very small, it's only what the Latino population, 6 or 7%.
Well, yeah, the Latino population is 8, but their voting segment is like 5%.
Yeah, but yet, there were 63,000 Latinos that voted for the Democratic Party, and Terry McAuliffe got elected with 53,000 votes. So we can say that the Latino vote actually, put him over the top to win that election. The same thing happened in Colorado with Senator Bennett and in many other places. And so our Latino community, they don't really understand the kind of power that they have. And so we have, many states where they can really decide the elections. And that's the message that we want to give them.
Yeah, this is something that I was talking to Senator Kaine recently, and he mentioned that, and he mentioned something else that I want your comment on, which is about the fact that the Hispanic community, the Latino voters, many times don't see the relevancy, don't see the power that they have in their hands. And Senator Kaine was extremely emphatic and said, you guys have a lot of power.
Right.
And this message coming from a historical figure that you, with the record that you have in all the communities throughout this nation, that's the message. And what else can you say to Latinos who are out there, who represent now almost 200,000 people who could go out and vote and still don't do it overwhelmingly. What is the message?
Well, the message is that unless we do, vote, every one of us get out there and vote, the people that are really doing this hateful rhetoric against immigrants and Latinos will continue to get represented. And not only that, but the people that get elected, of course, are the ones that decide where our tax dollars are going to be spent. Is it going to go to more schools, for education, for health care, for infrastructure that we need in our communities? Or is that money going to go to more law enforcement, to more prisons, for our people? And so this is the thing. They have to understand that those decisions that they make, when they're elected to office, affect our families every single day of our lives. And we can get that message through. And the other thing is that we like to tell them not to be intimidated by the ballot. Sometimes they get that big ballot, and we have a saying in Spanish, no quieren quedar mal. They don't want to make any mistakes. And so they figure, oh, well, if I don't mark the entire ballot, then, I'm not doing the right thing. And so they get intimidated. And so we want to say, look, when you get that ballot, you mark what you know, that you're sure of. You don't have to vote every single thing. It's good if you can to get informed and ask for help. Go to the people that people in your community, some of these civic organizations, your labor unions, and get some guidance and get some information on how to vote. But the main thing is to do it. We were just in North Carolina where they passed a very bad law there. It's House Bill 318 that is even going to prevent people from using their identifications from their country, their national country, like what they call the matriculas, to prevent them to use that as an identification.
Matricula consular.
La matricula. And that's such a very mean thing for them to do, because people need those IDs to be able to rent a house, or to be able to turn on their utilities at their places that they need to open up a bank account. So
I told you off camera that my Republican friends are going to be extremely upset because I'm talking to you about this, and you are supporting the Democratic ticket and all that. And you said something interesting, which is a good message for my Republican friends, which is, well, the way they are behaving or something like that. Can you articulate that message?
Well, yes, I think it's a shame, because there's many in the Republican Party, the leadership of the Republican Party, that you should be giving a better direction to the Republican Party, are kind of going to the extremists. They're taking their talking points from the Koch brothers, in denying climate change, and going around the country passing all of these anti-immigrant laws that are going to hurt them in the long run. And we have to take to people, remember Pete Wilson. Pete Wilson was the governor of California. And
That's the 90s.
And he was supposed to be, the next president of the United States of America. He was already being primed for that. But when he started pushing laws like Proposition 187 against Latinos, against immigrants, what happened? His political career ended. Right. So they have to understand that message, that the numbers of the Latinos are just going to grow more and more. You have 50,000 Latinos that turn 18 every month in the United States of America. 50,000. I mean, if that isn't kind of a scary message for those that continue to attack people of color, they should get that message.
Demography said destiny in America, and not paying attention is just dumb. I think it's a good word in English to describe things in a sophisticated way. I have a question for you. It is fascinating how we have to do full disclosure, and I want to talk national politics. And Dolores Huerta has always been a Hillary Clinton supporter.
Yeah, and I supported Hillary Clinton right from the beginning when she ran, for president the last time, is because she was very connected with the Latino community, and she was very supportive of immigration reform, and of course, very supportive of women and feminists, and this is why I supported her. And I do think that she really has the experience. She's extremely intelligent. Hillary is a very, very smart woman. She really knows how to get things done, and I think she's going to be a really great president for everybody, not just for women, but also for families and for the men, and especially for working people, because working people have suffered so much. Again, we have these Republican candidates. They're against the minimum wage. They don't really think about the working people and the kind of things that they need for their families. So.
Dolores Huerta, it's a pleasure and an honor to have you here. We will be talking the whole day, but time is limited as usual, unfortunately. Not your time. TV time, which is an anomaly in the world. But let me tell you something. We love you, and I know a lot of people in this country, no matter their ideological camp, they respect you and they love your work. Thank you for being in Virginia with your civic engagement campaign, and God bless.
Oh, thank you very much.
Pleasure.
Thank you.